What's up guys, and welcome to today's video. So we're going to be working on the Ram right here. If you are curious about what's going on with the Mustang, go ahead and check out some other videos. But rear end's back together, it's working out well. Tried to go to the drag strip, turns out it was closed for a drift event, so didn't work out. Anyway, I want to hop back on the truck because I've kind of been neglecting it a little bit and kind of knock out some more stuff that I want to get done with this project. So today, what I'm going to start on is, this has been bugging me. This is like the two biggest eyesore. Well, the whole truck, to be honest, is an eyesore, especially compared to this thing. But these freaking fenders are kind of driving me nuts. That one's busted. My suspicion is what happened. I got a gooseneck in, backed up, and the corner of the gooseneck poked it on this side. And pretty much, it's not as bad. Something down there is going on. But I do want to try and fix both these fenders. They're about 300 bucks new. They're kind of pricey. And I want to see if I can't get this taken care of. We're gonna go and pop these guys off, which I don't know how to do yet. We're gonna figure that out and you'll figure it out with me. That's kind of what we're gonna do. I like to go through this truck panel by panel and kind of get it looking good. We did the tailgate a little while ago. It came out pretty decent. You can still see a little bit of striping. I'm probably gonna come back through and honestly repaint it. But it's good enough for now. It's just got some dirt on it. So let's go and knock that out next. And pretty much my reasoning for doing this, it's inexpensive for me. It's just, cost effective to do it myself, so that's what we're gonna go ahead and do and learn along the process. I don't think it can really look much worse than, you know, straight up hole, so send it. Start off with, there's gonna be 4 bolts along the bottom right here, all in here. As you can see, that's loose now, and I'm kind of just gonna start working my way around. Some of these are real hard to get off, so the next ones I'm gonna go ahead and pop off are these back ones, and then we'll just kind of keep on going from there. All right, so I made some progress, started getting the fender off back here. There are an ungodly amount of fasteners. Just pulled off this upper piece right in there. And these two came off. Let me show you how many fasteners are coming out of this thing. These are all of them so far, and most of the, like, there's a lot. We're about probably halfway there. So the way they did this is they have bolts that go from this side through, and you got to get a nut on the back side. It's all the way around this whole freaking thing. And on the inside, there's some more. So I had to get this off so I could reach in the back side and try and get these top ones up in here. The rest, you just gotta start getting comfortable with being uncomfortable, reaching up and getting them. So I'm gonna keep knocking on these, but this job already definitely kind of sucks. I was not thinking it was gonna take this long, but it's almost dark, so that's fun. Finally got this thing off. Well, I'm not filming it because it took significantly longer than I thought it would, like a lot longer. Let me just show you what's up with this thing. So looking at the back side here, you're gonna have all these mud flap bolts. There's actually like bolts at the bottom of here. All those, same on this side, have them running around here. And every single one of these is a clip with a bolt in it. Most of these popped out after they came out, like that one right there. This one and this one, and there was actually one more in that corner, which I worked out. It took me about an hour yesterday. But what happens is water is able to get down in here, and it just basically runs its way right through here and literally just destroys the actual nuts on these things, so, like these guys. So you can see how they're kind of rusty, and some of these literally just started getting eaten into. Like that's kind of, you can kind of tell what's going on there. And yeah, real turd. So these are literally part of the truck now. That's just, is what it is. These are more than enough to hold it on. The two that broke, I literally can't get on the back side and get anything to get these things off. It sucks, but it is what it is. The bright side though, it does free up some space. I'm glad I'm not redoing this because this would look absolutely terrible. I'm just gonna honestly leave it alone. Also discovered there are plugs on these things, and that's what my lights hook into. So I'm gonna go ahead and probably solder these properly and redo these connectors. They just popped off because I didn't solder them. Just use heat shrink. So that's that. Down at the house now, I'm gonna go clean this thing off. Down at the workbench, some time has passed since you last saw this thing. I decided to go ahead and use the fiberglass resin I have. I'm a little worried about how well it'll stick, but this isn't a high stress area, so I'm kind of hoping it'll be okay. So what I did is I cleaned up all the old, there's a bunch of like, caulking is what they used on the base of this thing to kind of glue it together, and obviously that didn't work, so I went and scraped it all off. It took a while, and then the fiberglass resin is what's down here now, and you can see this is what it looked like when I was first done. I also did the back side. The back side I'm not cleaning up at all, just this front side. So went ahead and sanded it with 80 grit, resin down, basically just kind of drizzled it on slowly. It is cold outside, so I use a heat gun and everything to kind of help get everything to dry. It's now the next day since that's happened, and all I'm working on right now is sanding down all the high points. So I wasn't trying to get a good angle on this as a pain in the butt. I wound up using a couple of jack stands in all honesty to prop this piece up and get it kind of as flush as I could. And now that it's dry, you can tell obviously this side's higher than this side. That's why the sanding is sanding the way it is. And what I'm trying to do right now is just kind of get a nice gradual flow. So my initial concern, if it's too low, this whole thing would be very noticeably indented compared to the rest of this. I think I got it close enough though, so we'll see what happens. I'm just kind of working my way around with the sandpaper. And the idea is to get everything to look like this area. And then once that's done, we can start using some body filler and go over this once again. And that'll hopefully get out any more unlevelness, and we'll use the block sander to get the last of it. And in theory, we should be pretty good. So definitely making progress. I did also forget that I have a whole area down here. I missed this one when I was originally doing it, so I had to come back. And we'll see what happens, guys. So definitely a bit of a process. The cold weather is not helping, but hopefully we'll get this thing to look pretty dang good. I'm just trying to get it to look, you know, better than a gaping, flapping hole, because I really want the truck to look nice, and this is what needs to happen. So I'm gonna keep working. I'm just gonna do progress updates with you guys, and hopefully that'll be easy enough. All right, so we finished everything getting sanded here, round one anyway. So running my finger over it, pretty smooth. Obviously the crack is still visible because it's clear resin, so not too big a deal. Still a little bit of areas. This area is gonna need a decent amount of body filler, just because this is, you can kind of tell where plastic's been sanded down a little bit. And all that means is this part is higher than this, so it's smooth, and then it gets bumpy right here. So throw some body filler pretty much all over this whole thing and do another round of sanding and see if it fills in anything that needs to be filled in. And we'll start throwing some primer down, see how it looks. If it's flat, sweet. Probably not gonna be flat. We'll need to do a few more rounds of body filler, is my guess. But kind of gonna keep chugging along with this thing. Progress. It's not flapping in the wind anymore, so definitely getting better. Then laid down our first layer of Bondo, and I started sanding a little bit in here, but I mean, you can see it's pretty rough everywhere else. Just wanted to spray some water, and I'm just using this because it's a little thinner and allows me to kind of maneuver it around just like that. And that's all there is to it. So just gonna be doing this pretty much everywhere, getting off all the stuff that we don't need, and then kind of keeping on. All right, so first layer has been sanded, feeling quite smooth. So I think from this point, we're just gonna have to use primer to get the rest of this, and go ahead and use 2-in-1 primer filler sandable. Filler to fill in little pits like this, and then you just sand it down and keep repeating. So stage one, about to get going. So first coat is down. It's still dry, wet, obviously. Gotta wait for it to dry. I'm hoping, well, yeah, you'll see. Pretty much all this stuff right here, little high points, little imperfections. Once this fully dries up, we'll be able to go ahead and sand it down and see what it looks like for round two. This is kind of why primer is so important. It reveals all the shortcomings and everything, right? So you can see in here, there's some divots and whatnot up in here. Definitely some stuff going on in here. It just needs more sanding. A little bit of air bubbles up in here, and that definitely a little filler right in there. Although, we'll see what it looks like after we sand real quick, but I just kind of just want to show you guys the whole point of doing primer and some other kind of paint to give everything the same color so you can see all these imperfections. Another round of primer later. You can see it's definitely getting there, although there's still a definitive outline kind of coming in through here. So just gonna keep doing some more sanding, more priming, back and forth until I get it to where I want it to be. Definitely making some solid progress though. Way better than what we started with. Hopefully we can smooth this out a little bit more, and should be good to go. Okay, so some more time has passed, and you can kind of see, there's a little bit of a crack still showing. It's real hard to pick up unless you're like at the perfect angle. Honestly, that's good enough for me. I went ahead and came back to this several more times to try and get it perfect, and I just can't get it any better than that. But good enough. It looks way better than it did, and what I'm going to go ahead and do now, prep the rest of this thing up for paint, and then we're going to go ahead and paint the rest of this thing. And I'm just going to go back over this area one more time, and we should be good to get this thing almost done. It's been a real turd. Got this area kind of hemmed up. I put a lot less effort into this one than I did in that one because that's a lot bigger of an area. This one, honestly, I never even noticed before. I just happened to notice when I took it off, and honestly, I don't really care anymore. So time to get this thing prepped, and we're gonna go ahead and paint it up. So I went up and grabbing some matte spray paint. This is the color stuff I was using. All right, this is the gloss I was using. And when it comes down to it, there was too much clear in this stuff, so it was taking forever to get any coverage. So I went ahead and hit with the matte white, and then did the clear slash white, or the gloss white, and it's coming out pretty good. So you can, unfortunately, you can still definitely tell where that crack was, just based on the light angles and everything, but I still think it's a lot better than it was. And honestly, I don't think I'm gonna be able to get much better than that. I tried a lot, did a lot of sanding on that area and stuff, and it's about as good as it's gonna get, I think. And then we got some trash in the paint. It's definitely got some orange peel, but it'll come out with some wet sanding once we're all done with this whole thing. So now I'm just gonna let this side dry, flip it around, hit the other side that's still unpainted on that back side, and then we'll hit it, pretty much put it back on, let it dry a couple days, do wet sanding and polish it, and it should look pretty good. So I don't think it's gonna match my bed anymore, but that's fine. We gotta touch up and paint that thing too. Well, update, so I went ahead and pretty much got the bottom half area done. I found a lot of divots that needed some quick Bondo, so I threw some, not Bondo, some filler in there. So I went ahead and filled all those in, and then I'm gonna go ahead and paint it again. They're just not looking too great. There's a big one there, a couple there, same on this side. And then it is occurring to me rather quickly and obviously that even though this is gonna look brand new, the truck's gonna look not so great because the bed is not gonna match even a little bit. So I decided to go ahead and start doing this bed side. So I don't care about underneath here. On all honesty, I'm gonna power wash it, and that's probably gonna be it. It's hidden underneath everything. I don't really care what this paint looks like. This, I do care about this. So there's a lot of like little divots in here that are gonna need some top filler. And then as we go down, I can't really do much about this due to its location, but there's like a nice little indent right here. Trying to think, there's a couple along here I can feel, you can't really see on camera. For the most part, it's pretty clean though, so we're just gonna sand everything, which I've already done, and then the parts that need the filler are gonna get filled. There was a nice hefty dent in here. Went ahead and popped it out, popped the taillight out, got this board pretty much right here inside, and worked out most of this. So I'm just gonna do a little bit of Bondo on top of here to kind of flatten everything out. There's a little indent here, little one here, and then got little waves here and there. But in all honesty, guys, so I think it's gonna look pretty good. Pretty much gonna finish this entire bedside today. Well, we'll see. I don't know about today, but we get there. So it's kind of where I'm at with this thing. I haven't run the truck in a while, and it was a pretty rough cold start. It's getting pretty chilly out these days. Slash, got some gloss of white now down on this thing. Definitely looking pretty good. We're getting there. I realize there's a lot of orange peel, like I said before. We're gonna go ahead and sand this out, and it'll look way better. So let's go check out the truck. Pre-sanding, this is pretty much all our stuff. It's still a little warm and mushy. It's getting there. But this area, now that you can actually, see the contrast, you can see where all the little dents are. This area needs a good amount of attention. I'm gonna try and use a long piece of sandpaper to get from this edge to this edge, and just try and get this whole thing kind of sanded and smooth. I really laid it up in here because it was very uneven, so I want to see how smooth we can get this. So this area needs to get done. This one was a nice little dinger right here, same right here. This one, that's really the big ones. The rest of these little patches are just kind of like little paint chips and scrapes. They go straight down to the metal. So I just kind of wanted to fill those in first before trying to use the putty stuff, or the glazing filler. And yeah, that's actually coming along. Definitely getting there. Just looks pretty freaking ugly right now, but all in the name of a better looking truck in the end. So progress. We went ahead and got most of the sanding done minus this glazing putty. Filling in a few little pinholes, but no more dent. Nice and smooth, and pretty much I used a long piece of wood with some sandpaper and just edge to edge. This way I know everything is, flat along all these points. So that's done. Same thing with here. This grew a lot more than I thought it was going to. Even though it's just a small dent here, it actually indented the material all the way out to these points out here. So again, a little more glazing putty, and then same with this one. And I went over this one just to make sure. So we're gonna go ahead and hit this with 320 once it's finished drying. And after that, should be ready for its first layer of paint to kind of see how everything lays. Once again, you kind of see where the glazing putty is doing its job, filling in all these cracks. So where it's a sharp edge, it's actually smooth, but that's just where the two different putties are meeting. Yeah, kind of neat. And same thing right here. This one's almost there, but I put some more there and there. There are two more spots, but I mean, like that's smooth. That's smooth now. And then the same here. So making progress for sure. I think we're gonna pretty much once these are sanded, gonna start paint. So I'll probably catch up with you guys after I do the first coat on here. Went ahead and threw down the first coat of white just to kind of see what we were looking like. It's a matte, so stuff will still stick to it, thankfully, but evidently I have quite a bit more work to do. You can tell there's an edge of where the Bondo is right here, so that needs to get done. And then, this is depressing, but I spotted a crap ton more dents I didn't see before. So there's like indent here, small one here. As we're going down, there's here, 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 and here. And these are all like, you can't see them directly on, but at any sort of an angle, especially with gloss, it just reflects like crazy. So, time to go spin up another batch of Bondo and freaking run over all these little areas and do some more sanding. Kind of depressing. I was really hoping to just be done with it, but of course nothing's that easy. So I got a little more areas in here to fill in. Just is what it is, guys. But yeah, I was hoping to get this done sooner than later. Looks like I'm going to be going into tomorrow for quite a bit of this work still. Alrighty, guys, so I went ahead and took off all the tape. We got this area painted up, and you can still tell there's still some little dings here and there. I wasn't able to get all of them. Frankly, I just can't. It's really hard to tell without being perfectly gloss. And you can also tell that the gloss is not as shiny as the rest of the truck, but that's okay. Like I said, this is going to take a while to dry. We got to wait probably I'm going to wait probably about 3 days or so before doing any wet sanding on this. But the goal is to get it back to this actual gloss there. And I mean, you can see this whole paint, the actual paint is like someone put some spray paint there. Looks like there used to be a flag or something there. I mean, this is just, it's bad. So overall, this is going to look a lot better. This is some stuff will come right off with some sanding. I was freaking cutting off these stuck pieces of plastic right there. Accidentally got a little splatter, but whatever. Also, while I was at it, I went ahead and, whoops. So also while I was at it, went ahead and soldered these connections up and everything, put some wire protection on there. So it should be a little stronger than it was before. And if you're curious, they do have their own plugs. So I went ahead and got the clips back on this fender, and let's go ahead and get this thing popped on. So the paint's not super dry yet, but it should be fine. Apparently it's supposed to rain later, so I'm trying to beat that. So let's go ahead and get this fender popped on. There you have it. So I'm gonna go ahead and start getting this whole thing bolted back up, but holy cow, that looks super clean. I'm very, very happy with that. That's pretty sick. So here's where our crack was. You can still see an outline of it, unfortunately. But still, it's just due to the angle. I can't get any better. This piece wouldn't sit flush. It is what it is, but I think this looks, oh man, I'm so stoked. That is coming out great. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this whole thing buttoned up and all the way on. It should be good to go. Alrighty, well, it should back together. About to put the tailgate back on. Definitely looking a little worse for wear, unfortunately. This actually got cracked because I didn't realize how high this piece was up. When I dropped the tailgate down, this is pushing up right there, and I've actually bent it. Didn't even touch that area, but sick. So probably gonna get a new tailgate one of these days, but it's good enough for now. I'm gonna take the sledge to this in a minute. Let's go and get you guys a nice cold start in real quick. This is probably gonna be a little rough. It's been very chilly out. There we go. A little smoky, but not too bad. So just for reference, this is the other side. Kind of just got a nice dirty look to it. And this is the clean side now. So pretty big improvement in my opinion. Well, there you have it, guys. So definitely good enough for now. Looking pretty minty compared to everything else in the truck. So definitely got to finish the front half, I guess. Just time and effort and everything. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, stay tuned for more. If you liked what you see, go ahead and give it a like, subscribe down below. I'll see you in the next one. So take it easy. Have a good one.